Good evening. This is Maestro Cotello with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today we have a 3v3 on Argus Desert Gate. Our first player today is AlphaOne, playing as this Force Commander. The Force Commander is a tanky melee hero. He can disrupt, tank, support. He can punch vehicles, or he can get some area of effect knockback with a Thunderhammer. His first teammate is Pibb, playing as this blue Techmarine. The Techmarine starts out as a ranged hero. You can get a power axe later on. He is very versatile and very, very powerful in teams with things like relay beacons and turrets. Lastly, on the blue team, we have Osinski going for a triple guardsman build, playing as this Imperial Guard Inquisitor, hiding her face behind that hat. She is a disabling and debuffing hero, but she also has some other options, as we learned in another game, which I probably would have uploaded first before this, that she can have some tanky melee options as well. On the other side, we have this Grey Knight Bro Captain, played by X-Ray Dog. Another tanky melee hero, cannot be knocked down or suppressed, has a big force sword. Very nice with the Canticle of Absolution ability. Next up is Max Power, yet another tanky melee hero. And then finally, we have Tyger, playing as Sindri, Trollface, Chaos Sorcerer. This right here, I believe, is a Word Bearer's Sorcerer. Or maybe it's an Alpha Legion Sorcerer. No, I believe it's the Word Bearer's model. Yes, this is the Word Bearer's DLC, just recolored. Alright. So it looks like we've got two Space Marines up here. It's actually quite a lot of Space Marines, because we have two Space Marines on the blue side, as well as some Chaos Space Marines combined with Loyalist Space Marines on the red team. Tyger right here. Threw in some Doom Bolts. He should consume a Heretic so that he can do it again, because that is, of course, a very, very powerful ability that the Sorcerer has, and is one of the things he uses to turn engagements in his favor early on. There we go. That's another volley of Doom Bolts, knocking the health down of those Tactarines. Doom Bolts usually doesn't kill models, but it really does a lot of health damage. Looks like Tyger's going to push forward a little bit. Tyger going for the two Heretic build, along with one Chaos Space Marine and one Havoc. This is generally probably the best overall build with the Sorcerer and possibly Chaos in general. Just very versatile. You really get a lot out of it. Right here we have Osinski, who's built a lot of cover, and he's just kind of holding here. Looks like X-Ray Dog is going to move on in. Activated We Are the Hammer, and we see the speed increase as well as Canticle of Absolution already. Now, one of the things that means, I believe, is that the Sentinel cannot stomp and the Guardsman cannot repair. Canticle of Absolution has worn off, though, but it looks like that has turned the tide of the engagement a little bit, and the Guardsmen are getting overrun a bit. Guardsmen do need to get some repairs on the Sentinel, and maybe if the Sentinel can get off a stomp, but now it's very, very low in health. That Sentinel is going to die, I think, in a very, very precarious situation. I think it's going to be path blocked, and oh no, this could be a dead Sentinel right here. Strike Squad are really pushing their luck, though, and I think Osinski was, yeah, I think Osinski was, in a way, almost lucky to keep that Sentinel alive. Back over here, it looks like Tyger loses a Chaos Space Marine model, which is rather unfortunate. He does have a Havoc. Although the thing that's tough about this Havoc is that he's in a lane against two Space Marine players. Well, normally you're only in a lane against one, but there are two of them here. So if we see some Assault Space Marines, those will counter the Havoc very, very hard and make Tyger's life a little bit, or even more than a little bit, quite a bit tougher. Both of the blue Space Marine players actually have not gotten an Assault Space Marine squad yet. And I say not yet, maybe they won't get them ever. AlphaOne with triple scouts, two of which have sniper rifles, which can definitely actually work out pretty well against Havocs, as well as many of the other units on the red team. Pibb, meanwhile, going for a double tax. Only one of them is here right now, though. So Pibb is going to have some extremely, extremely durable, basically an extremely durable fighting force with also a lot of range damage output between the Techmarine and two tacks. AlphaOne, meanwhile, is going to have some high burst damage from the Sniper Scouts, as well as his tanky Force Commander. just tying things up. Over here, it looks like Osinski is getting the better end of things in his lane against X-Ray, but X-Ray pushing back now with grenade launchers on both of his stormtroopers, which, when you think about it, I'd say that makes a lot of sense considering grenade launchers. Chaos is often a race that they have that grenade launcher upgrade on their heretics, and it's usually a good idea to get that against Imperial Guard because it's really, really good against them. The grenade launchers on the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers are actually faster than the heretic grenade launchers, so they're harder to dodge. So they could potentially be very, very strong against these guardsmen. Now, since he's gone with a triple guardsman build, which I've kind of been feeling lately, I don't see this very often. I feel like you don't see the triple guardsman build very often. But it actually seems to be extremely powerful. Chaos Space Marine model's going down now. If that Inquisitor can get one more melee hit, but I don't think she can. Basically, the triple guardsman build actually seems to be very, very effective. And just because it's so much range DPS coming out of the guard in Tier 1. Now, individually, these guardsman squads don't do that much damage, but just because you have 3 squads, you have 3 sources, along with the Sentinel as well, which does range damage itself, you just get a lot of range DPS out of the guardsmen. Or just out of Imperial Guard, period. So Osinski, in fact, with a pretty long Tier 1, although I question this heavy weapon team choice against Grey Knights, although right now X-Ray Dog has not chosen yet at least to get an Interceptor squad, which I think would really give that heavy weapon team a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, over here, triple Sniper Scouts now from AlphaOne, but they are getting jumped by these Assault Space Marines. Now, these triple Sniper Scouts can definitely really, really hurt AlphaOne. I mean, these triple Sniper Scouts can really, really hurt very badly. They can hurt your opponent very badly, but I think AlphaOne is blobbing them up a little bit too much, keeping them together just because of basically ease of micromanagement. And I think the result of that is that he's getting them jumped all at the same time, because he was trying to run away with all 3 of the Sniper Scouts right there. If he had split them up, only one of those Sniper Scouts would get jumped, and then the other ones could actually start bleeding models off of those Assault Space Marines. Like, just one gets jumped, the other 2 take a shot at the Assault Space Marines, and either they take out one model already, or at least they get it very, very close. Sniper Scouts, of course, usually do not one-shot power armor models. They usually do not one-shot power armor models. They usually 2-shot them, although in some cases you can actually take 2 shots and the models will all 3 models will still be alive. Although that's still a lot of health damage that can definitely scare off power armor units, because you really don't want to lose those power armor models. These Havocs from Tyger in a lot of trouble. They will go down right there. Yep. So the red team now looking a little thin. They do have a VP lead just because they've held this top VP, but I feel like they have had some trouble with their engagements. Tyger lost his Havoc max power, lost his Force Commander. Meanwhile, Osinski has overall definitely had a lead over... Basically just had a lead over X-Ray Dog. He's just been winning in his lane against X-Ray Dog. He's got to be really, really careful with the Sentinel. He's being very aggressive with the... Oh my god, that's going to be really... That was really, really close. I was afraid there that a lot of guardsmen could have died. And a Dark Flames could take out one of the guardsman squad on retreat, possibly. And yes, it does in fact take out one of the guardsman squads on retreat. So good play by Tyger, especially considering that wasn't even in his lane. Definitely one of the great things you can do as a Sorcerer player in a team game is if you have really good awareness, just realizing when a unit is retreating that's not even on your side, that's barely dead, and you can Dark Flames, you can just use Dark Flames on them and take out a unit, which is really, really great for your team, but it's hard to have that awareness. And I often, since I play the Sorcerer, I often am I have a very critical eye whenever I'm watching other people play the Sorcerer in games. And one big thing that I really keep an eye on is the way people use Dark Flames. And a lot of people just use Dark Flames as a mini-nuke, which is, to be honest, a really terrible use of Dark Flames, generally. Unless it's going to be the difference between like you winning engagement or not. But usually it's better to use those Dark Flames as... Oh my god, so many Heretic models just died from that grenade. It's really generally better to use Dark Flames as a way of wiping a squad that otherwise would be out of reach from other units. Double plasma cannons. We got one from the blue team, one from the red team, and we also have Pibb with his... He turned his double tack build into a tack and stern guard build, and he's got a heavy amount of anti-heavy infantry firepower between a plasma gun on one tack squad as well as a stern guard veteran squad currently equipped with vengeance rounds in their bolters. Over here, we got more Osinski on X-Ray Dog action. Osinski has lost his... He has lost his Sentinel, lost one Guardsman squad because of Tyger's awareness, and right now he's really in a tough position and is having trouble winning his engagements. Alright, Razorback now out for max power. Transport starts off only with 400 health. You can upgrade it to have extra armor, and it does have that heavy bolter on top. Does not suppress, but does about the damage of a tack squad with a basically a tack squad with a tack sergeant. Roughly that kind of range DPS. A lot of grenades going in from basically from both of these stormtroopers. I was going to say both these players, but I corrected myself. And up here, so one thing I noticed, but I didn't point out, is that we have a Storm Shield upgrade from the Force Commander. He's been using that. That is, of course, an area of effect defensive buff on your own units. And I feel like part of the idea of that is that he's kind of using that in combination with the Scouts to reduce the loss they take. But it looks like this one has already taken, has taken 2 model losses. And now Red has a commanding VP lead. They have a double cap, about to be a triple cap with 417 to 161. And we even have double grenade launcher heretics from Tyger. Now this is something I feel like I don't see very, very often out of... I mean, I especially don't see it very often against races that are not Imperial Guard. That being said, AlphaOne has pretty much a purely ranged force. And heretics are actually a unit that are not terribly... Compared to most other units, they don't suffer from sniper scouts that much, since they have a lot of models and each model is not individually that strong. So I would say the grenade launcher heretics are actually a pretty good answer to these sniper scouts. Meanwhile, back here we have some Space Marines in the middle right now, and Assault Space Marines actually go down from max power. I was kind of surprised that happened. Usually and especially because there wasn't really much melee fire. They kind of just went down from a lot of ranged fire, and now a Scout squad went down from Pibb as well. But we do have 2 squads of Guardsmen that are fully upgraded. One of them might go down. 2 squads of Guardsmen with both plasma guns as well as having both squad leaders. One of them actually does go down, though. I was surprised to see that happen. And now we have a Chimera out, unfortunately only going to be supporting 1 Guardsman squad. Nothing inside this Chimera, so it's not going to do as much damage because it only has the turret multi-laser that's going to be shooting. When you have squads inside the Chimera, it also has those side-mounted multi-lasers that will also, or side-mounted lasers, that will increase the DPS of the Chimera. And it actually looks like, wow. So the red team has a commanding VP lead. Red even has, they've pretty much fully taken over the top lane, and Tyger is actually capturing the red team's, or the blue team's natural northern power. Meanwhile, it looks like blue team, or the fighting has pretty much shifted to the middle. Tyger's just finishing up some caps up north. And we have a lot of plasma cannon shots, double plasma cannon devastators from Pibb. And I think this Grey Knight Dreadnought could be in a lot of trouble. I think it's going to be done taking las cannon shots, taking missile launcher shots, and yeah, it's done. Meanwhile, we also have double las cannon devastators from AlphaOne. The builds on these players right now are pretty amazing. Tyger has a Dreadnought. He's getting a second one right now. He's got just a regular autocannon on them, and of course we do have that special Word Bearer's Dreadnought. And AlphaOne with these double las cannon devastators, which is going to make that's going to make things very, very challenging for basically just for the red team to actually effectively use vehicles. To the extent that they will effectively use vehicles, they're going to have to be fairly defensive. Looks like we're going to have some kind of call-in. Maybe, is that going to be a Venerable Dreadnought? And yes, it is. Venerable Dreadnought do have a Chaos Dreadnought. Oh, the Venerable tried to charge into these Heretics to take them out. It kind of messed up its charge, but it did, the Heretics did end up getting taken out anyway. This Chaos Dreadnought is in a lot of trouble, but it gets warped out. So Tyger, very good player and knows what he's doing with the Sorcerer. Mains the Chaos Lord, but definitely knows what he's doing with the Sorcerer as well. Very experienced player, of course. Tyger really is basically one of the best players around, to be honest. One of the, pretty much if we think of like who are really like the titans, the best players in Dawn of War 2, Tyger is one of them, along with players like Tex, Twilight Lake, and such. Assault Space Marines jumping in. It looks like all those Sniper Scouts are getting out of there. I think this Chimera is in a lot of trouble. It needs to get out of there. Oh no, I think this is a pathing issue, and I think, yeah, I knew those Purifiers were going to take it out. So Purifiers out on the field. This is that power melee squad for the Grey Knights. And they have a Davian Thule Justicar. So these Purifiers, they're kind of like Corrin Space Marines in terms of roughly their damage and just their basically just how they are. They're a power melee squad, a power armor power melee squad. Although I don't think they have the 6 speed of Corrin Space Marines. In fact, I'm 100% sure that they don't. Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines right here from Tyger. 1 squad of them, fully upgraded. Only level 1, surprisingly enough. And this is potentially a bad situation for this Venerable Dreadnought. Actually, it just got hit by the Melta. It is snared, but plenty of support for this Venerable around. Pibb, of course, doesn't even necessarily need scouts because he does have a Techmarine that can repair. I was surprised to see Tyger shoot some Doom Bolts at this, basically at this Plasma Cannon inside the garrison. Doom Bolt's not necessarily good for taking out things in garrisons. In fact, not good for that. Tyger has some grenade launcher heretics of his own that he could use against that actually would be quite effective. But here's a grenade from Max Power right at the building. A Devastator fell out of the building like that, but not necessarily enough to just kill. Not enough to kill that Plasma Cannon Devastator, just to scare it off a little bit. Just to scare it a bit, and do some damage, and bleed a model. We got huge lines right now. We got the Plasma Cannon Devastator. Still have some range on a lot of these units. Could attack ground. Not necessarily. And there go those Plasma Cannon Devastators. Kind of push their luck staying in that garrison for so long, and then the grenades from these Stormtroopers totally destroyed it. This Chaos Dreadnought in a lot of trouble. Hit by 1 las cannon. Second shot is about to go in. I think that's going to be the it for this Chaos Dreadnought, except I think it just got cloaked. Now it's uncloaked, but it's out of range. This Chaos Dreadnought needs to not go close again. Oh, I think Tyger's going to lose this Chaos Dreadnought. He's cutting it very, very close. And he does lose it with those double shots. This double las cannon build is actually being very, very effective right now. Took out one of Tyger's Dreadnoughts, but he built another one. He's just going all in on Dreadnoughts. And Tyger has the Sigil of the Rift. I think I missed him. He did sigil one of the las cannons, and he actually was able to get a wipe on it. Unfortunately, I missed it. A scout squad went down right there, so one of AlphaOne sniper scouts is down. Sad to say that I missed Tyger's Sigil. We have a flesh over steel on that Dreadnought, but at the same time, the Dreadnought did manage to stun that Force Commander, so it is pretty much fine. AlphaOne using, and now AlphaOne's using an orbital bombardment. And wow, such good reactions from Tyger. With this Heretic squad, he, instead of panicking, he just moved them back, and he was actually able to save both of his Heretic squads. And Tyger's saying that teleport doesn't work. He probably tried to use the warp global and it bugged out, which unfortunately sometimes happens. And he is probably going to lose this Chaos Dreadnought. Probably just one more shot from that Techmarine. Nope, unfortunately, I guess Tyger doesn't quite know as much as I thought about the Sorcerer. I mean, certainly a very good player, but you cannot sigil vehicles. And I think Venerable now a little overextended. Going to get hit by a Melta Bomb, maybe take some missile shots. Meanwhile, over here we have some Purifiers about to kill another Scout Squad. Getting very, very close. That's a nice charge. Purifiers have the longest charge range of any unit in the game. And that's got to be it for this Venerable. Taking all the missile shots. Should not try to friendly fire your own stuff. But, I mean, still going to be the end of this Venerable. Unfortunately, some unnecessary... Wow, don't let the Venerable out of there alive. Okay, there it goes. Venerable is zone. Alright, so I think blue team is staying in this game. I think one of the things that's really helping them is Pibb has this teleporter relay beacon. I said at the beginning that the Techmarine is one of the strongest heroes in teams. I think you could even make an argument for him being the best hero in teams because of what the teleporter relay beacon, and especially if you have a turret as well, what that does in a team game. Especially, Pibb got it late in the game, and it's still being very helpful, but earlier on in the game, a teleporter relay beacon in combination with a turret can force a double on a single player, on a single Techmarine, and then leave the other side vulnerable to getting doubled because you have an unnecessary double. But this teleporter relay beacon, just something that is extremely, extremely powerful, especially when combined with a turret. We have a meta bunker being protected by a heavy weapon team. That heavy weapon team actually needs to get out of that position or they might actually go down. I think that Terminator Librarian was infiltrated. Heavy weapon team goes down. Purgatus from the Inquisitor does give Osinski a slight edge for a little bit, but not quite enough, and Osinski is not going to be winning this engagement. He only has 2 guardsmen. He has such a long tier 1 build. His Inquisitor is completely overextended and will probably go down here. Even with that retreat, I think she is going to go down. And the Inquisitor does in fact go down. Here are those double sniper scouts from AlphaOne. AlphaOne now with a Land Raider. And something going on over here. A rocket run on all of Pibb's stuff. Not Pibb, X-Ray. I don't know how much that killed. That killed one thing. That actually killed the Purifiers, which is actually not bad. Certainly killed a lot of Stormtroopers as well, and some strikes. We have a Whirlwind and a Razorback. They do look very similar, in part because they are both built on the Rhino chassis. Regular Dreadnought, now out from Pibb, does not have the red to get a new Venerable. And of course we also have a Land Raider Redeemer from AlphaOne. So the blue team was really down on VPs for most of the game. They're getting back into this game, I think a lot in part on this relay beacon and just some good plays they have. I don't know what happened to Tyger's stuff. He's lost everything except for this 1 Dreadnought and his 2 Chaos Heretics. He has had to deal with a lot of las cannons, and he's lost 2 Dreadnoughts. He's down to his last one, or his 3rd one. Tyger, meanwhile, though, floating a huge amount of resources, going for Bloodletters. I was going to say maybe he's going to just save up for a Land Raider Phobos, and he might still do that. Or not. He's investing a lot in something. He's actually switching out the Sigil of the Rift for the Tome of Subjugation. Alright, and the blue team staying in this. Osinski now getting a Bane Blade
Well, we also have some Grey Knight Paladins upgrading to have an Incinerator. Wow, I was expecting the Psy Cannon. Usually the Psy Cannon is pretty nice on the Paladins because you actually get some steady AV DPS, steady ranged AV DPS as the Paladins are trying to get on their way into melee for even bigger melee AV DPS. Or just AV, period. Oh my god, I don't even know what's happening. Here we have a Dark Flames. I don't think I really approve of this Dark Flames, except for the fact that it seems to be being combined with a lot of other things, and still seems to be working out fairly well. But for the most part, I still don't agree with that Dark Flames. I think this Dreadnought will go down, though. Does have a multi-melta. Is trying to get out of there. I think it's out of range now of the missile launcher, but was it going to get hit by a Melta Bomb? But these Assault Space Marines did not have enough energy for a Melta. Still taking missile shots. Here is Diomedes with a punch. He will get a second one in, and that will be a dead Dreadnought. Oh, he got a special attack, so he didn't make it, but he's still running in there. Has actually the Artificer armor, gets his last punch, and takes out that Dreadnought. Predator tank now out for AlphaOne on top of his Land Raider Redeemer. Needs to be a little bit careful. His Predator tank is taking damage, is upgrading to the extra armor, but still needs to be very careful about this Dreadnought. Still taking too much from this Dreadnought. Needs to move back. It's gonna die. So kind of an unnecessary Predator tank loss right there. I mean, as it is, the Dreadnought is overextended and probably gonna go down as well, but a Dreadnought for a Predator is a decent trade. Well, as it is, the Dreadnought's not dead yet. Maybe the Dreadnought will stay alive. Meanwhile, we have a Predator tank over here. He's actually keeping the Predator in play. Looks like, oh, I thought he was going to keep going for the Land Raider, which is actually what he should do. Yep, he's going to keep going for the Land Raider, and this Land Raider is going to go down. Dead Land Raider. Wow. And I think that's probably going to be, I mean, right now it looks like the blue team running a little low on VPs, trying to get a cap off over here, but this Plasma Cannon is preventing it from happening. We're going to have the Inquisitor right here. She has upgraded to have the Servo Skull. You don't see that often. I was wondering if she was going to have the Inquisitorial Mandate so that she could be invulnerable, which would be something that would be extremely, extremely helpful right now. But I'm not sure. I think this game is going to go nuke ready. AlphaOne has a nuke ready, but the red team, or the blue team rather, really does not have much left. Meanwhile, this Baneblade is in trouble. Actually got hit by Flesh over Steel from the Power Fist from the Force Commander. We're now going to start getting repairs, but it's also getting hit by this Predator. At least the Baneblade can start shooting back. We have an Orbital Bombardment that's hitting not a whole lot, but I think it's going to take out the Stern Guard variant. Another Orbital Bombardment. 2 Orbitals. Couldn't even catch both of them. I think that will be a dead Predator. Just one more shot, and there goes the Predator. Double cap for the blue team, amazingly. But we have a sneaky Sorcerer right here, capturing as well as building a Land Raider Phobos at his stronghold. The Bro Captain just might go down here from this Venerable. Caps are being denied, but I think this is going to go in favor of the red team. They have the single. Tyger probably going to get off this double, and that has to be in favor. Oh, he doesn't get off that cap. But it's still going to be in favor, I think, of the red team, because the blue team hasn't been able to get another cap off. Yeah, and that's going to be it in favor of the red team.
We have failed.
Alright, hope you enjoyed the cast, hope you enjoyed the replay. Max Power sent this replay, thank you.